The Wildcard Round's over. It's time to get dirty in the Divisional Round. Welcome to a Brit Does Baseball Does podcast. As always, it seems to be these days. It's Gary. I'm joined by Cal. Cal, how are you faring without Giants baseball?
It's okay. I get to be happy for you, so that's fun.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that. It's because unless you're living under a rock or you're a Dodgers fan, the Cubs beat the Padres in the Wildcard Round 2-1, which means they go on to lose to the Brewers in 5.
Hell
Happy.
Yeah. Let's go.
Can't wait. There were some good wildcard matchups this time round. I mean, aside from even the Dodgers and the Reds, which was the only 2-game sweep, they got interesting in the end. But we're going to go through all them in more detail. So this episode, it's called Getting Down and Dirty in the Divisional Round because that's the next round of the playoffs. We have 4 series of 5-game matchups because we've gone up in the world. We've leveled up. We've gone from Pussy Boy 3-game series to adolescent 5-game series.
No, it's the correct amount of games. 7 is bullshit.
So we've gone to the right amount of games per Cal's strong opinion on this, which we discussed in a previous episode. If you haven't caught it, go and watch it. Don't know what episode it's on at this point, but a while ago. So we've had 4 wildcard matchups. We had the Tigers, Guardians, Reds, Dodgers, Yankees, Red Sox, and my Chicago Cubs versus the Padres. We're going to quickly run down all four series, what happened, the key highlights. Then we're going to do a quick preview of the divisional round where the Phillies, Mariners, Blue Jays, and Brewers enter the fray. And as always, we've got a hot take, and we'll start a bench cut. So, Cal, you ready to roll and rock?
Fuck it. Why not?
Let's do it. So I've got the hot take. We've only got one hot take, as I said. Boo's still on annual leave. And me and Cal swapped this week, so I'm doing the hot take. The one hot take is that ABS should have been in the playoffs. So the automated ball strike system should have come in early for this season's playoffs rather than waiting until next year. This comes in part because of the Padres Cubs bottom of the 9th inning yesterday, which we'll get onto a bit later. But that's my hot take. Cal, what have you got?
First of all, I was taken aback by ABS. I fully thought you were talking about a guy. Antonio Brown Smith, whatever. Yeah, maybe he was playing his ass off this whole year. No, I don't think so. I kind of like that the playoffs are like, okay, well, we've seen all of these like other rules, like, in overtime you get the runner on second and stuff, and they're like, no, none of that. And there is a pitch clock in the playoffs now, because I remember the first year they were like, we're thinking about not having it.
Yeah, there is a pitch clock.
So I kind of like that it's a little bit more traditional baseball. I would like to see it more in the regular season. I liked in spring training that players were able to challenge once an at-bat. And it was quick and it was smooth and it was fine. And it seemed like no egos were particularly hurt. I don't know if that's just because it's a spring training thing, but like it was good and fun. I think that it should be implemented. I do think that it needs to develop throughout the regular season first, though.
Would you like it? Would you like it because it is coming in? It is coming in next year to the regular season. Would you like to see a year where it's just in the regular season and not in the playoffs, or would you like to just go whole hog?
I think the rules just have to change for the playoffs a little bit, where instead of once an at-bat, just because that might long things out and things, like you can only do it on a full count or something. Like you can't just be like, they've called it 0-1 and you're like, no chance. And it's like, all right, fine, it's 1-0. Like, shut up. But if it's a full count, I think you should be able to challenge it. That would be cool.
I like that. Maybe we should do a segment in the off season where we just make up rules.
Maybe we should take over.
That would be great. And I've been told I'm not allowed to badmouth Rob Manfred on these podcasts as much because we're trying to get an MLB press pass.
I haven't.
But technically, we wouldn't have to badmouth Rob Manfred if we were Rob Manfred.
If he did his fucking job properly.
That as well. Yeah, we can badmouth him. Why not? We can. That press pass can wait. We're not going to have baseball in a year and a half, so we can just talk about how MLB should give us a press pass at that point. MLB, if you are listening to this, which you're probably not, we'll take a press pass.
We're politer in person.
Promise we're really nice. We won't do anything. I can't say the same for Dan, and Dan would probably be the one using it the majority of the time because me and Cal are in the UK. But Dan wouldn't bother any players at all. He wouldn't try and get cards signed or baseball signed or anything.
He doesn't even do that right now every day.
No, he honestly he will just turn up and ask him the hard hitting questions like,
Can you sign this card?
and or baseball. Just don't let him anywhere near Dom Smith. I think that would be a
you'd be in the splash zone anyway.
Yeah, I've got this as a massively hot take. I think you need to be consistent between the as in like for this particular season, you have to be consistent between the regular season and the playoffs. You can't really implement. It's like implementing Hawkeye for the FA Cup final in the UK, which is the goal. Not Hawkeye, VAR. Hawkeye's fine. Hawkeye's great.
It's the same system.
Yeah. Anyway, it's like implementing VAR only at Premier League stadiums, which is the equivalent of, oh, you've got big attendance and money, you get VAR, but poor old Grimsby Town up the road, no VAR for them, we can't afford it. And it's like, it's not really fair because you get to the semi-finals and eventually there's VAR again. So I think you need to be consistent. I agree. I can't wait to see it in action next year. I can't wait to see kind of the umpires get taken down a peg or two. And I will applaud Rob Manfred for kind of bringing it in a bit earlier than I thought he would. So, you know, we'll give him some credit. It's not all doom and gloom. Yeah. But anyway, talking about, I haven't got a good segue for this segment, so I'm just going to say.
Talking about doom and gloom for some teams, not the Cubs, though.
That works. We're going to go over the 4 wildcard matchups. So I've made notes on 3 of the matchups. The 4th matchup, I stayed up and watched every inning of every game within the Cubs and Padres, or the Pubs and Cadres, because I like to switch the first letters of names on, like I did with Gal and Caz the other week. Got it. Yeah, sorry, I didn't have much sleep last night. So we're going to go through each game one by one, each series. I mean, just give you some highlights. We're going to get Cal's expert opinion on all 4 of the games, and then we're going to preview the following matchups by going into a bit of depth about the 4 teams awaiting in the divisional round. So, Cal, is there any way you'd like to start?
Well, I did watch all the highlights for the Yankees Red Sox series, so let's start there.
Perfect. Probably the biggest matchup on paper, the Yankees and the Red Sox, just with all that history, or something from what I've been told. So, a couple of fun facts. I've got a notebook and everything. I'm prepared. I'm prepared.
Whoa! Look at you.
Yeah, I'm prepared. So, Red Sox went to the Yankees for 3 games. In game 1, the Red Sox, I want to say, crushed the Yankees 3-1 because it did honestly feel that way. Garrett Crochet went 7 2/3, giving up 1 run. Only 11 strikeouts, not many. Ardalis Chapman then gave the Yankees blue balls by coming in for a 4-out save, loading the bases in the 9th with no outs, and then not giving up a single run. On the Yankee side, Max Fried pitched a gem. He went 6 1/3 with no runs, a couple of hits. Luke Weaver immediately came in and blew it up and gave up 2 runs in like half an inning or a third of an inning. And the Red Sox won the game 3-1. So utter dominance from Garrett Crochet. Anything more to say on this one, Cal?
Dude's a monster. I loved it. I've not watched heaps of Red Sox baseball this year, but I understand what everyone's talking about now. That guy is worth every penny of however many millions that they're paying him.
I don't know if they're paying him that much. It's more kind of what they gave up in the trade. I think the White Sox basically took the farm system from the Red Sox in return for Garrett Crochet.
He's getting paid millions.
Yeah, but not as many millions as he may deserve until he reaches free agency. Game 2, the Yankees came back. They won 4-3. Carlos Rodon was okay for the Yankees. He went 6 innings, gave up 3 runs. That's fine. Brian Bayo for the Red Sox didn't fare so well. He gave up 2 runs in 2 innings and got pulled from the game. Funny point. So game 1, Jazz, everyone's favorite second baseman and home run derby aficionado, Jazz Chisholm Jr., who got 3 home runs in the home run derby, for those of you that don't remember. when I think the next lowest was like 18 or something stupid.
Ooh.
Jazz Chisholm wasn't in the starting lineup for game one because Aaron Boone didn't want to play him, probably just to wind him up a little bit. Chisholm started in game two. He scored the winning run. He made a good out at second base. Yeah, what did you think of this one?
The New York Yankees defense scares the shit out of me, and not in ways that New York Yankees fans should be excited about. They're pretty shit, honestly. It feels like every play you're like, oh, is an error about to happen? And then it doesn't sometimes. And you're like, oh, all right, what a relief. I don't know. There was one, it might have been last night's game to be fair, but I think it was just Volpe throwing it to first, and it just kept rising. It just kept going up. And I was like, holy fuck. And fortunately, Ben Rice is 17'9" or whatever the hell. And it was fine. But yeah, they scare me. They really, really scare me. If they're not getting on base, which they do pretty effectively, to be fair to them, their defense is shaky, but not as shaky as the Red Sox outfield.
Yeah, that was pretty rough. I listened to the Red Sox podcast with Jared Cannabis. I believe it's called Underdog, or it's sponsored by Underdog. I don't know, but anyway, I think it's called like Section 52 or something. And they're a Red Sox podcast, and they just went in on Jaron Duran and Rafaela and Abreu just being like shite.
Abreu's just calling off his center fielder constantly and like running and sprinting and just like snatching it right in front of him. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, he's not getting any further in the playoffs, I guess, is what he's doing.
Yeah, true.
That was game two. Game three, the first two I think were quite good matchups. They were quite fun. Game three was just a bit of a shame, to be honest with you. The Yankees won 4-0. Cam Shitler, the shit man, Cam Shitler,
Shit dog.
the shit dog. He pitched like 100 and he threw like 250 pitches. It seemed like, which is rare for a rookie. I think it was like his 8th start. He went up against a Red Sox starter whose last name was Early, so you could make a few time puns if you wanted there. He got out of game quite early because the Red Sox defense just didn't want to help. Dropping fly balls and just not really fielding very well. Shitler went 8 innings, 12 strikeouts, so one more than Crochet. Red Sox just didn't really do much. It was a bit of a shame, all things considered, because the Red Sox after game one, we said it on the Wildcard recap where, me and Dan said it on the Wildcard recap because Cal was Dan. Dan was Cal. It was weird. It was Freaky Friday. It was an honor to witness it. We said that, the Red Sox are probably going to take game one, and then Brian Bayo needs to pitch the game of his life if the Red Sox are going to win, because they just didn't have a game three starter. I mean, Lucas Giolito was ruled out with elbow inflammation, and Tanner Houck, Cutter Crawford have been gone the whole year. Red Sox were kind of down to like, we said we thought Rich Hill, 45-year-old Dick Mountain, was waiting by the phone, and he was going to come in for a spot start in the Wildcard series, but the Red Sox start was fine. He just was let down by his defense, unfortunately. The Yankees go on to face, I'm guessing, the team you're supporting at the moment, the Toronto Blue Jays in the next round. Before we get onto the Blue Jays, do you think the Yankees have a chance based on the way they're playing at the moment?
Just real quick, that as disappointing as the offense was, Connolly early, who was the Red Sox pitcher, was pitching fantastic. He was doing a really, really great job. And then, like you said, the Red Sox defense let him down. Cam Shitdog on the Yankees broke like 1 million records. I don't know if you saw that. He's like the youngest pitcher to have gotten this many strikeouts in their first playoff game, and he was like the first Yankees pitcher to do this since Babe Ruth, and like he fucking broke like 6 records or something. He was lights out. Both of them were really, really fantastic. It's just a shame that Early's night ended as his name would suggest. But even still, when he was losing it, he was pitching okay. just like I said, the defense just kind of let him down in that, you're giving up runs, so you got to take him out. Um, that could have gone the whole 7-8 innings between the two of them, which would have been really cool for two young pitchers, and it was really, really exciting, to be fair. What was your actual question?
I can't remember. I actually looked up early stats. He got 6 Ks in 3 2/3. That's good.
Dude, he was
That's great.
crushing it, dude.
It seemed that I didn't watch the whole game because I was watching the highlights, but yeah, it just seemed like the errors. Apparently, only one. Oh no, 2 errors. Nathaniel Lowe should not be on a baseball field. I think is.
It was rough. It was a tricky kind of short hop, which you probably get 98 times out of 100. It's just this time was quite costly.
Yeah. Anyway, so I remember my question now. People are going to be listening to this thinking, has Gary lost his mind? And the answer is yes. Yes, he has.
Well,
Are the Yankees? Do they stand a chance against the Blue Jays in the next round if they play like they did in the wild card?
oh no, no, they don't. With the pitchers not having that little bit of extra rest, it's not. It's a bit suboptimal, but also the Blue Jays have just been kind of overwhelming on base guys. Like they're just going to be there and they're going to be aggressive. And the Yankees, I don't think are going to be able to cope with it. I think they're going to be very high scoring games because obviously there's the talent on both sides to do some real damage, but I think the Blue Jays kind of walk away victorious by some margin. I don't think it goes the whole 5 games. I think it's 4.
That's fair. So I think because of, as you said, the wildcard round ending yesterday, it's either going to be Lewis Hill or Will Warren. God help it. God help the Yankees if it's Will Warren, who's going in game 1, and then they'll probably be backed up again by Max Fried, Rodon, and Cam Schittler. Meanwhile, the Blue Jays, they've got whoever they want to call on. They've got Kevin Goldsman, they've got Shane Bieber, they've got Trey Savage, they've got Chris Bassett, they've got Max Scherzer. They've got everyone.
Trey
Jose Barrios,
by the way, is a fucking dog.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen this dude pitch, but he's a rookie this year, and he's an absolute machine.
Haven't seen him. I've heard good things. I've not heard it. I look forward to watching the highlights because I think should get a playoff game.
I think he will, and I think he'll excel.
Let's hope so. Speaking of excel, sorry, I'm an accountant. I think the Blue Jays are going to excel past the Yankees. I agree. I've got them in 4. I think if Max Fried is going to be going in one game, he's back in Max Fried form. They can probably sneak a game at the Rogers Center, but yeah, I've got the Blue Jays in 4. Just looking at their team, you've got Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at first. You've got Addison Barger having a hell of a season. You've got George Springer. You've got Dalton Varsho. I know Bo Bichette's missing out, but you've got Captain Beefy Boy Kirk. He's not captain, but he's the catcher.
He should be.
He should be. I've never seen. He's like Dan Vogelback, but with talent.
Yeah, and I think about a foot shorter as well. Christian Kirk's shorter than I am, and I'm not lengthy.
And yet, that man's a big league catcher. I think we're both agreed that the Blue Jays are going to win this in 4. They could sweep him in 3. It's a tough one, and it's maybe I should have done that for the hot take. But I'll get your thoughts on it now, just as a little bonus one. Traditionally, the teams that don't play in the wild card round don't do that well in the divisional series because the hitters are out of touch on the positional side. It's great for the arms, but they're just a little bit rusty. Do you agree with that, or do you think it just depends on what teams are coming through?
I think the teams in the wild card offensively do have a little bit of an advantage, and I don't think it's anything to do with the rest. I think it's just that there's a day off after the season ends, then it's a wild card, and then you have a day, and then it's there. You're just carrying on with what you were doing. So just 4 days, you'll be fine. That first run through the lineup, you might be a little bit like, oh, should have stretched a bit more. Actually, back's a little stiff, but no, I don't think it'll play any massive difference whatsoever.
Fair enough, and I tend to agree as well. I think it's nonsense that people say that not having the wild cards a disadvantage. It's like, oh, you mean I get to have all of my starters available on proper rest?
Yeah.
Oh no, whatever will I do?
They haven't played catch in 4 days. They might have forgot.
To be fair, if you've got Tanner Scott in the Dodgers bullpen, that man could legitimately have forgotten how to throw a baseball properly, or Ellie De La Cruz might forget that he's playing shortstop.
Where does this thing go again? He's like looking at first base, like,
Yeah.
I know you. I should do something.
Anyway, we'll as we're in the American League, we'll finish up with the other matchup, which I jokingly said in the chat that no one outside of Michigan or Cleveland watched because they were the early kickoffs. You never back the early kickoff in football, and the same goes in baseball as well. The Tigers went to the Guardians in the Wildcard series. Oh, sorry, one last fun fact on the Yankees Red Sox, which I forgot to mention. The Yankees are the first ever team in the since the wild card was expanded. So historically since 2022, so not that long. They're the first team to have ever gone 1-0 down and turn it around and win 2-1 in advance.
Oh.
But three games went to 3 games. Sorry, three games went to 3.
Yeah.
It makes sense in my head. I'll get around to it. Another one that went the distance for the Tigers and the Guardians. Game 1, the Tigers won 2-1. Now this was I don't know if you've seen the highlights for this game 1. So two highlights. One, if you thought Crochet was good, Scooble was even better. He had 14 strikeouts, gave up 1 run, and went to 7 2/3.
Like, fuck off.
Just like anything you can do, I can do just a little bit better.
He's so good. Why is he not in conversations for MVP? Why is he not like the face of the MLB? He seems like such a fucking good dude as well. He's an absolute animal, and he's just kind of being hidden because he's not on a big market team. Figure it out.
He might be soon if the Tigers don't pay him. Anyway, this was quite big for the Tigers this series because they had let a 15.5 game lead up to the Guardians and ended up having to go to Cleveland for the wildcard series. There was only 9 hits in this series, in this game even, so it was a bit of a snooze fest. Gritty. I think that just describes the Tigers and the Guardians. I think at one point, one of the Guardians players broke for home. The ball went back to Scooble off the hit, and Scooble chased him down, or the pitcher just chased him down to end the game. It probably wasn't Scooble, but it was just like shithousery in a shithousery in a box was how that game 1 ended. Game 2, I've not really got many notes because, like I said, I didn't really care about this series, to be honest with you. The Guardians won 6-1. Brian Rocchio, who I think has been up and down from AAA. I don't know much about the Guardians. I'm really sorry. Shortstop, who doesn't really do much. He hit a home run. One of the Naylor brothers, the one that didn't get traded, the less beefy one, Bo Naylor, he went deep. They both went deep in the 8th inning, and the Guardians won 6-1. So it was tied up. Then we get into game 3 yesterday, and the Tigers won 6-3. Again, it was the fun stuff happened when the Cubs game started, so I didn't really watch much. I know that the Tigers got 4 runs in the 7th inning. The Guardians got 2 back in the 8th, but a little bit too little, too late. Again, I mean, apart from Scooble being an animal, there's not really much to write home about. I think this was like a battle of the mid. Genuinely, I think the AL Central was so bad this year, as evidenced by the fact that A, the West and the East divisions got the 1 and 2 seeds. That just tells you all you need to know. B, the White Sox and Twins are in that division, so you'd expect these Tigers and Guardians to be racking up more wins. And C, ESPN gave them the early kickoff, so no one really cared. They didn't care about this series. Anything you want to note on this one, Cal?
No.
Yeah, that's pretty much my opinion. I'm sorry, Guardians and Tigers fans. We're more Guardians fans. Tigers, I've got a little bit of love for.
Yeah,
I think
Tigers are cool. I like them. I just can never be bothered to watch a whole game. Maybe I will against the Mariners. Who knows?
Yeah, well, that's a spoiler. I will say they've got a catcher called Dylan Dingler. Great name.
Oh,
sounds like should be on SpongeBob.
Good name.
So the Tigers will go to T-Mobile Park in the divisional series to face off against the 2 seed Mariners. The Mariners come into this series having played 2 scrimmage games in the week, and Ichiro Suzuki just thought, you know what, I'm a Hall of Famer, I'm 53 or however old. I'm going to go take part in these scrimmage games and also play right field. So great moment for Julio Rodriguez playing centre field, looking over and just seeing Ichiro Suzuki actually fielding and throwing and just being incredible. Yeah, nothing really more to say about that. Going into this one, the Mariners obviously have, great British hero Harry Ford as their biggest catching prospect, but more importantly, maybe just slightly, they've got the big dumper, switch hitting catcher, favourite for the AL MVP, I hope, or should be the AL MVP. They've got great names in that team. They've got Julio Rodriguez, who's been fantastic this year. They've got Randy Arozarena, who's found it this year. They've got Josh Naylor, who's stolen the most bags ever for a beefy boy, like 5, no, like double figures.
Slightly more than 2.
Yeah, I think he's got like 60. It was something like he'd stolen 10 in 10 when he first got traded. Who Eugenio Suarez, who just mashed home runs this year. And then their pitching staff is just like Brian Wu, who looks like a 15-year-old in the face, is just an animal. George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo. They've got 4.
Both of them?
Yeah, all of them are just incredible. Do you think the Tigers have a chance here, or I've got this down as the Mariners in 4, and that's because one of the games will be started by Scooble.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, I think there'll be closer games than Mariners fans might like them to be, but yeah, I don't see it being too much of an issue once the Scooble game's done.
Yeah, I think Scooble will probably go in game 2 based on rest, etc. So they might have to do a little bit of a job in Detroit if they leave Seattle 1-1. But hope I want to see the Mariners move on. I'd love to see a Mariners Blue Jays ALCS. I think that's what all the neutral fans want.
It's what the world needs right now. There's a lot of not nice things happening, but a Mariners Blue Jays series would be really good for the soul.
Yeah, it might even change what's going on in the world. You never know. They might.
Probably not, but it could.
They might look and go, there's a guy called Miles Mastrobuoni on the bench for the Mariners. Anything can happen. And when we say anything can happen, including halftime, which we're approaching. After the break, we're going to run down the 2 National League series. We've got the Reds and the Dodgers, and we've got the Cubs and the Padres, and we're going to end with a quick start bench cut. You've been beautiful. We'll see you in a bit. Welcome back to our divisional round / wildcard catch up. And then we're getting down and dirty in the divisional rounds. We've just covered the American League matchups. We're going to go over to the National League matchups. Now, last episode, you might remember that Cal had to say a few nice things about the Los Angeles Dodgers. You'll be pleased to know for our regular viewers that his love for the Dodgers lasted approximately 0 seconds after the podcast ended, and he didn't watch a single bit about the Reds and the Dodgers.
I don't care.
So I'm going to quickly skim through this one because I want to talk about the Cubs more. So game 1.
We should
Dodgers
give it
won.
a little bit of attention that it does deserve.
Oh, okay. So game 1, the Dodgers won 10-5. Shohei Ohtani homered twice. Teoscar Hernandez homered. Tommy Edman homered. 3 of those homers came off of Hunter Green. Hunter Green only went 3 innings.
Oh,
Dodgers went 10-2 up in the 7th inning because I think Snell went 7. And then the Dodgers bullpen decided to make it a little bit more interesting, and they conceded 3 runs in 2 innings, including a couple of bases loaded walks.
You love to see it. You really do.
It sort of gave the Reds a little bit of hope, which was a bit evil, but
yeah, all right. It's interesting. It's not surprising that they got at Hunter Green as much as they did, but it is a little bit surprising because he has been phenomenal all year, and it's a bit of a shame that that's how his season ends.
Yeah, what didn't help was he went out the day before on Dodger Stadium and sort of kissed the mound, and there's a video of it meaning quite a lot to him, and then it's just kind of backfired because he got absolutely slaughtered by the Dodgers, which I'm not a fan of because it's the Dodgers. Fuck them in the nicest way possible.
Just shut up.
So that was game one. Game two, the Dodgers won 8-4. This time, the Reds actually went 2-0 up. Yamamoto was very good. He went 6 2/3. Didn't give up an earned run. He did give up 2 runs, though, because Teoscar Hernandez, as a lot of the outfield did this whole wildcard series, decided he wanted to drop one. So he dropped one that would have ended the inning. Beefy boy Sal Stewart then came up for the Reds and drove in 2 runs. Yeah, I've got written down early Hernandez error leads to Reds going 2-0 up. Anyway, the Reds then scored 8, as you do when you've got a lineup that's that jacked. Yamamoto went 6 2/3, and then the bullpen again. All their bullpen, aside from one guy, Blake Trinan, have just been awful. They gave up another 2 runs in 2 1/3, which is great for the upcoming divisional series. Blake Trinan's been good for them in the bullpen. I'm just trying to think. There was one point where their lefty Vesia, I think his name is, he was at an. This was a fun fact from this game. Alex Vesia was in an at-bat. Was it Alex Vesia? No. Emmett Sheehan. Emmett Sheehan was at an at-bat against Will Benson. The count was 1-2. Dave Roberts then decided to take out Emmett Sheehan mid at-bat. So he brought on the lefty Vesia. And the Reds countered by swapping out Will Benson for Miguel Andujar. So Miguel Andujar started with a 1-2 count. And it was a different pitcher. I've never seen it before. Mid at-bat.
I didn't know you could do that.
Neither did I, but apparently you can. I thought it was only because of injury, but I think as long as you face like the 3 batters, then you can do whatever you want. So
interesting.
Ended with a strikeout, which I think goes to Will Benson, and I don't know who gets credit for the strikeout on the pitching side. I don't really care. So the Dodgers won the series 2-0. They got an extra day off. The reward for that is a nice trip to everyone's favorite city, Philadelphia, to face off against the aptly named Philadelphia Phillies. Where did you see this one going, Cal? The Phillies and the Dodgers?
I don't know. I think if the Phillies get ahead early, then I think they might do it. I think they'll just have the energy of the crowd behind them, and they'll be properly up for it. The Dodgers have a fucking Texas-sized target on their back. That they are the team to beat. If you beat the Dodgers, it feels like you win the World Series a little bit in the playoffs. So yeah, I think it will be very interesting, and it will be very situationally dependent. But I don't like either of these teams. I would like to see the Phillies win because it would be nice to see that many people getting emotionally happy about baseball. There'll be people crying in the stands. There'll be people on meth in the stands having a great time. There'll be all kinds of stuff going on. But as long as the Dodgers lose, that's good for mankind. That's like a Mariners Blue Jays series. That's if the Phillies win, that the world heals a little bit.
Could you imagine if the Reds had beaten the Dodgers?
That'd suck. That'd be really shit. No one would watch because now you get to hate watch the Dodgers is the thing. So it's important that they're always there because you want to see them lose. So you're gonna watch the games. No one gives a shit about the Reds Phillies, dude.
Both teams are red.
All right.
That's the only thing I've got. I don't care either. It's just it'd be fun.
But one of them's gonna be in grey though. So
yeah, that just ruins it. All right. Well, fun idea over. I've got the Phillies in fight. To be fair, that's another idea. I think another baseball idea, Manfred. I hope you're writing these down. Once a year, there should just be one matchup where teams have to play in the same color.
Yeah, and it's not the normal white, red, blue, orange, whatever. They all have to play in like luminous yellow.
Yeah, make it like Party Animals kit from Banana Ball.
Hell yeah.
Or everyone's in yellow. I don't care. Just make it happen.
Yeah,
you can call it like I bet that you could put the bananas in there one day and they'll Probably lose to most teams, not the Rockies, but most teams.
Oh, they have the military service week. Yeah, everybody's got to wear camo, but like the camo is like an audience of people, so they like blend into the seats.
So you don't know where the ball's coming from.
Exactly. It's just a glove, but there's gloves with the people as well. You don't know. That's where first base is. Hit and hope.
I feel like we've gone a bit off piece because we were chatting about the Dodgers and Phillies, so we'll get back on. Yeah, we'll get back on track. I've got the Phillies winning in 5. I think Dodgers starters have probably got the better rotation just with the names, but their bullpen is hot garbage. So if you can get one of the starters early, hopefully Blake Snell, because he annoys me the most out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of respect Yamamoto a lot more than Blake Snell, just because I don't like Blake Snell.
Was it him that was crying at the start of the year, or was that the other guy that they brought over and then hasn't played all year because he's been ass?
Oh, Roki Sasaki.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
probably
him that was crying, I think.
Yeah, he's had a rough season. He's back on the postseason roster. They didn't pitch him at all. I think with all the other names they brought out, like they brought out Blesky. I feel like they're just on MLB The Show, just creating. Like at this point, it's just a sim players come through. But that name exists. He was there, a guy called Jack Dreyer, who has been awful.
Nowhere.
Never do. I don't think Tanner Scott pitched either. Anyway, enough about the Dodgers Phillies. We're going to come back. We're going to come back round to our last series. It's my beloved Cubs. They played off against the evil Friars, the evil San Diego Padres, with Manny Machado. Game 1, Nick Pivetta, who has had a really good year, ex-Red Sox, was having a really good year. Before I start, have you seen any of these highlights other than the Game 3 bottom of the 9th?
I watched the highlights from Game 1.
Oh, perfect. So you saw Nick Pivetta carve us up because we love high fastballs. I think we struck out 16 times in that first game. Eventually, Seiya Suzuki stayed hot from his 5 home runs in his last 4 regular season games. He got to him with a home run. Another home run immediately followed with Carson Kelly. That put us 2-1 up because the Padres had already scored at that point. Matthew Boyd went 4 and a third. Pivetta was looking good, and then again, wasn't even a mistake pitch to Carson Kelly. It was like 2 foot above the zone, but took him deep. Then Big Daddy Danny Palencia throwing 101 miles per hour, covered 1 2/3 innings in 19 pitches.
Jesus Christ! All right,
struck out, and then by that point, the Cubs bullpen was perfect. They went 4 2/3, no hits, no walks.
Let's go.
Just no one on base. It was a very comfortable win. Then we come to Game 2, and the Cubs offense decided it wanted to do what it did in the entirety of the second half and go missing. We came up against a very good starter for that game, at least, in Dylan Cease, who again was striking us out for fun, ex-White Sox. We went with an opener, Andrew Kittredge, which wasn't very well received because he gave up a run in the first inning, which is not what an opener is meant to do. Shota Imanaga, then again, he looked solid, but not like the Imanaga that I know and love from last year. He gave up another 2 runs, but to be honest, this was the battle of the bullpen. The Padres bullpen, they've got 4 players there. Jeremiah Estrada, who's an ex-Cub. They've got a lefty called Adrian Morahan. They've got Mason Miller, who was acquired from the A's. And they've got Robert Suarez as their closer. Those 4 guys were spoken about as the big 4. Now, day 1, we saw Mason Miller a little bit, and he just sort of struck out the side. I think he told Suzuki to go fuck himself as well, or something. But not very nice. Game 2, Mason Miller. Oh my God. I think people, if you've been following on with our Instagram, saw my little meltdown I had. This man for 104.5 miles per hour. Bottom corner of the strike zone. Carson Kelly didn't even move. Rung him up, and Carson Kelly just looked at the umpire like, as if like, how the fuck am I meant to hit that?
Yeah.
Mason Miller was he was incredible. I think he went like 2 innings. He struck out 8. It's the fastest ever pitch thrown in the Statcast era. It's being recorded at 104.5 miles per hour. Robert Suarez, who we didn't see in Game 1, came out to Game 2 and just annihilated us as well. Bit of a frustrating one. We didn't really get much going on the offense. Kyle Tucker started to show signs of life. PCA decided he loves high fastballs for 2 games in a row, so he went like 0 for 7. Ian Happ didn't do anything. it was a bit of a write-off. And I was like, do you know what? We won game 1. We lost game 2. We could have gotten to Dylan Cease, but Dylan Cease always turns up against the Cubs. I don't know why. It's not very nice of him. Then we get on to probably the most fun game I've watched all year. So the Cubs won 3-1. 13 hits to 7, which to me, looking at the hit count, is like that should have been a lot. That should have been over a lot sooner. Yu Darvish started for the Padres, and it was like we can get to this guy. He got through the first inning okay. Second inning, he loaded the bases, and then was pulled from the game after 21 pitches.
Really?
Yeah, Mike Shildt wasn't fucking about. He brought in Jeremiah Estrada. Bases loaded, walk to Dansby Swanson, so we got 1 run in. Prior to that, PCA hit a bloop single, so we got 2 runs in. Estrada then struck out the next man and ended it on a double play. So we could have scored 4 or 5 that inning, and Estrada limited it to 2. Just to add insult to in the injury, he then fucked us in the next inning as well, just destroyed us. Then it was Tyone went 4 for us. Jameson Tyone was fantastic. New kick changes brought in, just falling hitters. Fernando Tatis Jr. looked like he wanted to be in Cancun. He was just anything that was touching the zone at one point in life, he would swing at, including stuff that hit the dirt. PCA decided he wanted to hit the baseball again, which was really fun and nice to see. And then, it was just battle of the bullpen. So we got 2 runs early. Michael Busch homered off of Robert Suarez. It was going quite swimmingly. And then we get to the top of the 9th. So it's 3-0 Cubs. Brad Keller, who'd pitched an okay 8th inning. I think he gave up a hit. First faced against Jackson Merrill, and Jackson Merrill took him deep. Great hit, 3-1. The next hitter was Xander Bogaerts. I think it went to, I think it was 3-0, and then the hitters do what the hitters do, and they just don't swing until it gets to a full count. So he got to 3-2, and then on ESPN's broadcast, which I'll get into in a second because I don't like ESPN, so fuck ESPN. Brad Keller for a fastball, but it looked like it was a foot below the zone. Bogaerts got ready to walk. The umpire didn't let him walk and instead struck him out. Bogaerts then proceeded to throw a temper tantrum, quite rightly. Almost got himself ejected, but Mike Shildt had to come out and kind of calm him down. After that point, Keller then decided he wanted to hit the next 2 batters. So the Padres had runners on second and first with 1 out. Your drunk uncle came over from out of the bullpen. Andrew Kittredge with his dad bod, that beautiful man, came out and got us 2 outs to end the game, which was really nice to see. Now, I know you saw the bottom. I know you saw the top of the 9th. What's your view on the Xander Bogaerts call?
Well, it was a ball, but it was called a strike, so that's the end of it. Really. I understand why he's so upset about it. It didn't miss by much, but it did miss. It's a high pressure game. They started to get a bit of momentum towards the end. Yeah, if that's a walk, maybe it's a bit different, but ultimately it wasn't, so it doesn't matter. Chill out, you lost. I'm happy that I don't have to pretend to like and support the Padres anymore.
You can thank the Cubs later. What made it funnier was everyone saying in the comments, like online, like because it would have been a walk and then Keller hit the next 2 batters. Everyone's like, "I would have been bases loaded, no one out." And it's like, do you think the next 2 at bats would have gone that way if Bogaerts had walked? Of course it wouldn't. Keller wouldn't have stayed in to face the next 2 batters if he'd have walked Bogaerts. I can tell you right now, Counsell was getting ready to pull him. Absolutely kneecap Ryan O'Hearn. That was quite funny. Like, it looks sore. Couple of other notes from this game. Dansby Swanson will not be on Luis Arias's Christmas card list. I think he threw him out 14 times in 3 at-bats. It was really impressive. Dansby Swanson was the MVP of the series. Fantastic D. If you want to look at why you're not playing MLB level baseball, go and watch Dansby Swanson highlights. That man is incredible. Great lid as well. Cubs 1-2-1. We go on to face the Brewers. I'm going to excuse myself from predictions for the next round because I'm going to be overly biased. So over to you, Cal. Do you have the Brewers or the Cubs for this one?
I think on the official bracket, I put the Brewers, but I don't know. Something about the Cubs at the moment just feels like they probably make it a lot more interesting. Maybe the Brewers win. That's probably more likely because of pancake magic, obviously. But no, I don't want to keep going against the Cubs because I do like them and I think they are good at what they're doing, which is playing the sport of baseball and winning games. I don't know. I'm going to say Brewers just so that someone does, even though Dan probably will. So fuck it, I'll go Cubs. Cubs win in 5.
I love you forever. Yeah, Dan's going to go. Dan will go Brewers just to annoy me. And I think he really loves Mizorowski, which is fair.
Yeah, I do too.
We can't knock Dan for that. We can knock him for not responding to my text and coming on this podcast.
Not fucking being here. Yeah, we can do that.
It's like Rob Manfred all over again. I'm not comparing Dan to Rob Manfred. That is incredibly harsh on Dan. We wouldn't go that low.
That's fair. We at
But
least like Dan.
if Dan was Rob Manfred, maybe
Who
we wouldn't shit talk him.
Who do you think is better at their job? Dan, who we don't know anything about his job. We loosely know that he works with like boats or something.
He does not work with boats.
He doesn't
No.
He does something. I don't care.
We can say boats.
But we know exactly what Rob Manfred does. Who do you think is better at their job? Do you think Dan's better at his job than Rob Manfred is at his?
I think if Dan turns up for work, he's better at his job than Rob Manfred is.
Yeah, fair. All right.
All right, I'll pose this one to you. Do you think Dan would be better at Rob Manfred's job than Rob Manfred would be at Dan's job?
No. I think Rob Manfred's job probably has more transferable skills than Dan's job does to Rob Manfred's. Do you think you're better at your job than Rob Manfred is at his?
Yes.
Valid. Fair. I
And what
can
about,
categorically say that I am not better at my job than Rob Manfred is. I'm there to get paid and then I'm fucking home.
is that not Rob Manfred?
No, he's got other stuff to do. To be fair, his job is much, much more difficult than mine. I'm an ATM with eyes, dude, and even still, I get that wrong sometimes. Rob Manfred at least has some decisions to make. I left a lady a 2-minute voicemail today, apologizing that the wait time for interest certificates are especially long at the moment, which they are, and it's annoying and it's very difficult. But she's been trying to get them since June, and I was just kind of, as I am now, waffling about just being so sorry that I can't get her interest certificates yet. Rob Manfred would have done that in 30 seconds, I think. So
Yeah, but all Rob Manfred's going around is getting into fights with Bryce Harper every other week. I feel like we could do that very easily.
well, someone has to get into a fight with Bryce Harper every week, and that's in his contract, actually.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
What I'd do is I'd hire Tommy Pham. I'd be like, Tommy, you're going to retire. It's time. It's time you come home. Comes to work MLB as like an ambassador for just picking fights with Bryce Harper.
Hell yeah. Well, what we'll do is the agreement committee is Jock Peterson and Tommy Pham, and all decisions are based off of whoever wins their fantasy football match and gets slapped the least.
I'll tell you who isn't winning their fantasy football matches. Me.
Fair.
Not great. That wraps up our wildcard recap, and I believe we've got down and dirty in the divisional round, and also potential job creations. And I don't know. I believe Dan doesn't work with boats, but I can't 100% confirm that. We will have to follow up on the next episode.
I've got no idea.
Yeah, I don't actually know who he works for. I don't know. I don't think it's boats. It could be.
I think I remember maybe he did some work with the net. I don't know. I don't fucking know, dude. I'm sorry, Dan. You did tell me like 6 times. I got the memory of a sieve, and it's all reserved for Buster Posey adoration. Apologies, big dog.
And interest certificate voicemails.
Speaking of player appreciation and adoration, I got some start bench cuts for you.
I forgot we did that.
Yeah, well, we didn't. I did.
Oh, okay.
So, as is customary, we have start bench cut. You start one, you bench one, you cut one. It's pretty self-explanatory. And we have one baseball related, we have one non-baseball related. And so your start bench cut that is baseball related is I tried to make this emotionally complex for you. So
That's very difficult. I've got one emotion, and that's
fear.
Fear. Forgetting my sentences.
It's a true to form actual start bench cut of Cubs players.
Oh no. Okay, here we go.
So your first player, ass man, Javier Assad.
Oh
Oh no, indeed.
no.
Your second option, potential MVP, Pete Crow Armstrong.
Yeah.
And then anti-vax legend Anthony Rizzo. You got to start one, you got to bench one, and you got to look one in the eyes and say, "I'm sorry, you can't. I can't keep you here anymore. You've got to go to the New York Yankees for a year and be bad there."
He was bad for 2 years. Thank you very much.
He was bad for a lot longer than 2 years.
Okay. Okay, this is tough. If you'd have thrown Jan Gomes in there, we would.
I was thinking about it, but I thought I'd not.
That's fair. Okay, so I'm either gonna hate myself or all of the Cubs fans, including my girlfriend, will hate me. And there's a lot of things about myself, but I cannot, with good conscience, cut Javier Assad because I first saw him and he was awful. Like, couldn't even hit. Like, came out the bullpen, gave up like 7 runs.
Hell yeah, throw a yes hitter.
Yeah, he was amazing in a bad way, and then just to see his growth into a more of a beefy boy, more well-rounded individual.
Yeah,
He's
not
having a
any
kid.
better at his job. Just grow physically.
Marginally better. He was very good last year, and then he got injured. He's having a kid. Found that out over the weekend.
Oh, little ass baby.
Little ass man, yeah. It could be Arse Man Shovel Day for game 1 of the divisional series.
I'd really love it if that was the case.
Well, I don't know who else can go because he went on the last day of the regular season, and we've had Boyd, Imanaga, and Tyone. Cade Horton's still out, so I think it's between Javier Assad and Colin Ray. And it's probably going to... It's got to be an Arse Man Shovel Day. It's probably going to be Colin Ray, but Arse Man Shovel Day, let's fucking go. Saying that, I'm going to start Javier Assad. So after saying all of that, I can't... He's my favorite. Him and Jan Gomes were my OG 2 players that I loved for different reasons. Jan Gomes was good for a year. Javier Assad was shite for a year. And then they reversed it the year after.
Nice.
And I have a jersey with both of them on. I don't have a Rizzo, I don't have a Bryant, I don't have a Baez. But I've got Javier Assad. So I'm going to start Assad. I'm just going to take the hatred from the fans. I'm going to bench PCA and I'm going to cut Anthony Rizzo. The only reason I'm going to cut Rizzo, 2 reasons. One, I never saw him play for the Cubs. It was before my time as a Cubs fan. I apologize to the Wrigley faithful. 2, when he did retire, he made a fucking long-ass cup snake. So I know that if I'm going to cut him, if I cut Javier Assad, that man's going to be a father. I can't do that.
It's unfair.
It's unfair. If I cut PCA, he might cry. If I cut Anthony Rizzo, all he's going to do... Oh, yeah. Well, when I cut Anthony Rizzo, all he's going to do is be like, all right, fine. He's going to hop the fucking wall in the bleachers, make a fucking long-ass cup snake.
Hell yeah, and make sure nobody's vaccinated.
Silver linings, eh?
Nice. All right. Well, that was nice. I hope it wasn't too emotionally stressful for you.
It was, because I thought you led with Javier Assad. I'm like, I'm cooked. But...
oh fuck. So slightly lighter in the non-baseball related. because all I seem to do is think of food and drinks all day. It's autumn, and autumn, if it's good for anything, is seasonal beverages.
That's
And
true.
so you got to start one, bench one, cut one between mulled cider, hot chocolate, and pumpkin spice lattes.
See, this one's very easy for me. It's not very easy for me. I know what I'm going to start. That's going to be a hot chocolate because I don't like mulled cider and I don't drink coffee and I don't drink pumpkin spice latte. So I'm going to start hot chocolate. That's the easy one. It's the one I do drink occasionally. Now, do I want to be?
You want to get down with hot, angry apple juice with cinnamon in it?
Or white girls in Starbucks?
Hey, fuck, I will defend pumpkin spice lattes until the cows come home. They are delicious. And also, they serve them all year round if you just ask.
See, that just takes away the magic for me.
Yeah, well, you can fucking put your cider in the microwave whenever you want as well.
I'm trying to think what would Emily do, and I think the answer would be wouldn't start a baseball podcast. So
It would be do something else.
yes, do something else with all of these hours you spent chatting shit online. But we have fans. We're over 5,500 followers now. You are beautiful. Thank you.
Thank
To the followers, you as well, Cal.
I appreciate it.
I'm gonna bench the mulled cider.
I respect it.
Wait, mulled cider or mulled wine? Was it cider?
No cider.
Oh, yeah, fuck that. All right, I'm benching the latte, cutting the cider. I fucking hate cider.
Is it?
I fucking hate like apple or pear cider. It's gonna be one of those. It's not gonna be like a strawberry lime record league or Copperberg. It's gonna be like taste like it's just gonna. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna cut. Yeah, all right, I've changed my mind. Cut the cider, bench the latte.
Respect it. PSLs are the way forward. I adore them. They're delicious. Hot chocolate is good. You ever put like a candy cane in your hot chocolate at Christmas time?
Can't say that I have, no.
Fucking do it. Treat yourself to some happiness. Put a candy cane in your hot chocolate. It's great.
I will.
All right. That's it. What a beautiful way to end.
What have we learned this episode? We haven't learned what Dan's job is.
Yeah, we've learned we don't know what Dan does, but Rob Manfred could do my job significantly better than I can.
Is that better than you could do his job? I don't think we ever covered that.
No, God, no. No.
Okay. We've learned that Jock Peterson and Tommy Pham would be on the agreement committee.
They would. The Yankees and the Red Sox both have exciting young pitching. It's just a shame that neither of them are going to be playing much playoff baseball. Well, in some cases, no playoff baseball. The Dodgers bullpen sucks. The Padres are a team full of little bitches, and
Guardians exist.
who knows what happens to that team now, because they kind of went all in on we're going to go win now, and then they didn't. They fell before even the first hurdle, really. They fell at the starting blocks. But anyway, that was lovely. You've been wonderful. I've been Cal. That's been Gaz. I hope you have a lovely day, and we'll see you after the next round. So like a week or so.
Who knows? Maybe sooner. Love you. Bye.
Bye.